Magandang oras mga kababayan, mga ka-Golden Boy. Presidenteng Trump ng Amerika ay nagsasabi sa Iran na, "Oy Iran, iwagayway nyo na ang inyong puting bandera dahil wala na talaga, wala na kayong igaganti kapag aatakihin kayo ng kahit Saudi lamang ay wala ka ng kalaban-laban. Israel lalo na, Amerika ay mas lalo-lalo na." Di ba mga kababayan? Ang Turkey ngayon ay nagpahayag na tutulong sa Amerika para matapos ang gera. Ngayon, ano ba talaga ang stand ng Turkey dito sa pahayag ng Turkey? Sila ba'y mag-middleman lamang? Sila ba'y in between? O sila ay nasa gitna lamang? O may kinakampihan ang Turkey? Well, makikita ito natin sa tinatawag na Islamic NATO. Ang Islamic NATO or Islamic NATO ay kasama diyan ng Saudi Arabia, Turkey at UAE. Kaya yung tatlo na yan na bansa, Islamic NATO, meron na silang defense treaty. Ngayon kung ang Iran, kalaban ng Iran ang Saudi Arabia, dahil pinagbumba ito ng Iran noon at ng proxy niya sa Yemen, ang mga Houthi, ibig sabihin, kalaban na rin ng Turkey itong Iran. Kaya dito sa pahayag ng Turkey na tutulong sila kay Trump na matapos ang gulo, sa tingin ko ay baka bumbahin ng Turkey ang Iran mga kababayan, dahil kakampi ng Turkey ang Saudi Arabia at UAE. Kaya dito pa lamang mas lalong tagilid na ang Iran. Bakit ba kasi ang tagal-tagal iwagayway ang white flag nila? Diba? Bakit ayaw sumurinder at magipagsundo at maglahat din ng mga kondisyones kung anong gusto nila na pwede lang para sa Amerika, mga kababayan. So meron tayong video dito, Fox News channel. Ito yung channel na pinakagusto ni Donald Trump sa lahat ng channel sa Amerika. Ito yung paborito niya, ang Fox News channel, dahil sa balansing balita. So ito yung kanyang paboritong reporter, si Ying Stray ang pangalan. Atin panoorin, courtesy ng Fox News.
Agreement with Iran set to expire today.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst just spoke with President Trump and joins us now from Tel Aviv. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. I just got off the phone with President Trump, who discussed the situation with Iran as the 60-day memorandum of understanding expires. The president told Fox News Iran should raise the white flag of surrender. He went on to say, "I have no time schedule. I'm not in a hurry." The president indicating that the U.S. naval blockade is continuing to put new economic pressure on the Iranian regime, despite what the Iranians have said publicly. He said they're good poker players, but they're dying, and that the midterms in the United States have nothing to do with the president's thinking. Now, I asked the president about these parallel talks that are taking place between Iran and Oman about control of the Strait of Hormuz. And the president told Fox News if Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the S out of them. We went on to talk about a variety of different regional topics, including the U.S. stockpiles of weapons that are currently stationed in the Middle East. The president says what we've used so far is peanuts. He went on to say the United States has a lot of mid-level weapons and that many of the more advanced systems, the president says, were given away by President Biden to Ukraine, for example, when we're talking about air defense that is needed right now in the Middle East. The president also spoke about U.S. ally Israel. Remember, his son-in-law and top negotiator Jared Kushner is in the region. He met yesterday with Khalil al-Hayya, the current Hamas chief in Egypt. And the president said that they have a different channel with Hamas and that ultimately they are giving up their guns, talking about the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. I asked the president about the upcoming Israeli elections in October, and President Trump told Fox News, "I think it's most appropriate for me to stay out of Israeli elections, but I may endorse somebody." And so a lot of headlines here. The president talking about the latest in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranian regime that at this moment appears unwilling to reach a diplomatic solution with the United States. Guys?
Trey, it also looked like we got an answer from the president about what is priority number one for the United States. Is it the nuclear weapon or getting the gas prices down? He responded to that on True Social.
Yeah, the president posted on True Social, and he was very clear that ensuring that Iran never has a nuclear weapon is the #1 priority for the United States. I asked the president about the communication with the Iranians, and interestingly, President Trump confirmed to Fox News that there is a back channel with the IRGC. These are the hardline officials inside of Iran, and that the United States and officials in Washington are speaking directly with IRGC officials in Iran. This is another indication that the Trump administration is not just dealing with the political echelon in Tehran, but also some of these hardliners that have launched attacks against U.S. forces and, of course, in the Strait of Hormuz. But the critical headline here is the president's patience as it relates to dealing with the Iranians. He said there is no timeline. And so this 60-day window that is expiring today is largely irrelevant in terms of the president's thinking as it relates to Iran. And again, he indicated the United States has a lot of mid-level weapons to use if they're needed in the future. But he calls on the Iranians to raise the white flag of surrender. And again, as this moves forward here, there are these parallel talks taking place between Iran and Oman. The president warning Oman not to get in the way of the U.S. naval blockade and the efforts to control the Strait of Hormuz. And we know that that naval blockade is costing the Iranian regime hundreds of millions of dollars each day. And this economic pressure, coupled with the sanctions that are expected to be announced this week by the U.S. Treasury, it's adding more domestic pressure on the regime and those officials in Tehran to change their behavior, possibly come back to the negotiating table, as a lot of rhetoric is still floating around the Middle East.
So ito yung latest ngayon na chismis, mga kababayan. Chismis ito galing sa Amerika at Iran, na si Donald Trump ang Amerika ay meron pa rin kausap ngayon, tinatawag na back channeling. Ito daw ay hardliner officials ng IRGC. Ito yung mga hardcore, sa loob talaga yan ng IRGC, at meron ng direct contact through telephone. Kinakausap na daw yan ng negotiator ni Trump ang mga opisyalis na yan. Sino kaya ang mga yan, no? Ibang kalulukuhin na naman si Trump. Talagang naano na tayo sa kahihintay ng katapusan nito, mga kababayan. Dito sa amin, 77 pesos pa rin ang 1 litrong ng gasolina. So hindi pa gaanong bumaba. Bumaba lang ng kunti. Kaya mahirap pa rin ang buhay ngayon dahil mataas ang presyo lahat dito sa amin. Bigas, tumaas, lahat na yan. Oil, groceries, lahat ng prime commodities tumaas. Hanggang hindi babalik sa 50 pesos per liter ng gasolina, ay tsaka bababa din yung ating mga presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin. Okay, kaya ang gusto natin dito, ang gusto ko, matapos na itong gera, tapusin ni Trump yan, kasi kung ang tatapos ang Iran at matalo ang Amerika, lagot tayo mga makademokrasya. Kung tayo'y terorista, okay lang, pero kung tayo'y peace-loving na mga democratic people, ay of course doon tayo papanig sa makademokrasyang presidente. Walang iba kundi si Donald Trump. Ngayon, latest din ito, natsismis pa rin yan sa Strait of Hormuz, na ang nagsabi kasi nito, Iran lang eh. Ang sabi ng Iran na tutulong daw sa Iran ang Oman para isara ang Strait of Hormuz at lagyan ito ng mga bomba. Kakatawa naman tong Iran, no? Kaya ang Oman wala ngang imik eh. Hindi pa nga pumayag ang Oman, na hindi pumirma ang Oman sa ginawang kasunduan ng Iran saka Oman na silang dalawa ang magkukontrol ng Strait of Hormuz. Ayaw ng Oman ng ganyan. Bakit ikukontrol ng Oman? Alam naman ng Oman na hindi sa kanila ang karagatan, di ba? Yan ay free passage, yan ay daanan ng mga international na barko. At walang nagmamay-ari niyan, mga kababayan. Katulad din yan sa batas sa atin dito sa Pilipinas, na kapag may ilog malapit sa lupain mo, ay hindi yung pagmamay-ari mo, yun ay public river yun, public creek, kapag mayroong mga ganun. Hindi yun pwedeng isama sa titulo, lalo na yung malalaking ilog, lalo na yung karagatan, di ba? Pag nasa harapan mo, ay sa gobyerno pa rin yun, hindi yun private property, yung mga dagat na nasa beach, na nasa tapat ng bahay mo. Alright, so ang Oman ay walang imik tungkol dito sa sinabi ng Iran na silang dalawang mag-control ng Strait of Hormuz. Sabi kasi ni Trump ay, naku Oman, kapag Mag-isama ka dyan sa Iran, bumbahin din kita, sabi yan ni Trump. So walang gagawin ng Oman. Ang Oman ay maka-Amerika yan eh. Kaya kung anong gusto ng Amerika, para maprotektahan ng Oman ay sundin nila. 'Di ba? Balik tayo sa this time news coming from Daily Jagran with Nikita Kapoor, atin pakinggan.
Sometimes a country begins to crack when the system that make ordinary life possible stops working. Water, power, fuel. Three things a modern state cannot function without, and Iran is being squeezed on all the three fronts at the same time. Hello and welcome. I am Nikita Kapoor and you are watching Decoded. And in this episode, viewers, we are looking beyond the battlefield and decode the most dangerous battlefield inside Iran that may not be a military target at all. It may be the tap, the power socket, and the petrol pump. And suddenly, water and electricity are no longer two separate crises. They are becoming one. Because here is the problem, viewers. Water systems need electricity. Pumps need electricity. Treatment plants need electricity. Distribution networks need electricity. Homes need electricity to pump water into the tanks. So when the electricity disappears, the water can disappear with it. That is the beginning of the vicious circle here. Now let's look at electricity a bit more. Iran is an energy-rich country, and that makes the electricity crisis particularly extraordinary here. Iran has enormous oil and gas reserves, yet the country has repeatedly experienced electricity shortages. Why? Because having energy underground is not the same as having reliable electricity in people's homes. You need power plants, you need gas supplies, transmission networks, investment, maintenance, modern equipment, and enough generation capacity to meet the demand of your country. Now, no power means factories and businesses cannot operate normally. Production falls, jobs are threatened, water infrastructure becomes harder to operate. A senior Iranian official has told Reuters that Iranian entities must be prepared to escalate tensions in the Strait of Hormuz and across the wider region. The message from Tehran is blunt, viewers. If diplomacy fails, Iran says it could launch a timely and precise military attack to break the US naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. That means the world's energy highway could once again become the center of a rapidly escalating confrontation between Tehran and Washington. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most strategically important waterways on the planet. A huge share of global oil shipments passes through this narrow stretch of water every single day, and any serious disruption could send shockwaves through global energy markets, affecting oil supplies, shipping, and economies far, far beyond the Middle East.
Alright, so ito yung balita ngayon sa Iran. Sa loob mismo ng Iran ay hirap ng mamamayan dahil nga sa walang kuryente. Natamaan yung nuclear power plant eh. Walang kuryente, solar panel lang ang kanilang mga ginagamit. Ngayon dahil sa walang kuryente, wala ring tubig na napump. Kaya kahit tubig ngayon, nangangamoy ng mga comfort room eh. Ang mga CR ng Iran yan, nangangamoy na. Ay sigurado ako pati IRGC diyan ay naapektuhan na rin yung kanilang mga kampo dahil sa walang gaanong tubig at walang kuryente. Kung mayroong mang generator, okay lang. Marami naman silang langis doon. Ang problema niyan ang mamamayan. Kaya ang mamamayan, sabi ng mga war expert, baka yan ang tatapos ng girang ito. Baka magkaroon ng revolusyon sa internal sa loob ng Iran at ang mamamayan ang maghusga sa lahat ng mga IRGC commanders at officials. Okay, so itong pangalawang chismis naman diyan sa Iran na nagbanta na rin ang mga IRGC officials na kapag hindi makipag-ayos si Trump, hindi makipag-negotiate, sila na naman ang nagbanta ngayon, no? Kapag hindi daw nagipag-negotiate ng totoo at maganda si Trump, ay mag-opensiba sila, atakihin nilang mga barko sa Hormuz, pati na mga US fleets, mga US warships. Grabe naman talaga tong Iran, no? Kahit wala na nga silang barko eh. Tapos atake pa sila, grabe naman. Talagang mga sinungaling ang mga taong to at mahilig ng fake news. Alright, so anong masasabi nyo dito mga kababayan sa sinasabing mag-wave na ng white flag ang Iran dahil meron ng usapan si Trump at saka yung mga hardliner officials ng IRGC, meron na rin silang backdoor channeling ngayon. At hindi yan alam ng karamihan ng opisyal na ganun na pala yung usapan sa loob ng Iran via the White House through the spokesperson na nasa loob, negotiator ng Amerika na isang hardliner na gumagawa ng paraan para magkaroon muli ng peace negotiation. Final na pirmahan ito. Dalawang beses na inuuto si Trump ng Iran ng peace negotiation na yan. Kaya dapat tuldukan na ni Trump ito. Ito yung sabi niya nung isang araw na ito na yung katapusan ng Iran. Ayaw niya nang magipag-usap kasi mga luko-luko, mga lunatic, sabi ni Trump. Kaya dapat ito nga dapat gawin na ni Trump ang dapat gawin. At ang peace negotiation, parang naglalaro lang ang Iran dyan Hindi talaga sila sumusunod sa mga kung anong nakalagay dyan sa peace negotiation na yan. Kaya kung ako kay Trump, tapusin ko na ito sa gusto ng mamamayan sa Iran at sa gusto ng mga tao sa Amerika. Alright, anong masasabi nyo dito mga ka-Golden Boy? Paki-comment sa ating comment section. Ako magpapaalam na. Maraming salamat sa lahat.